Tweet hello everyone. We are live. So the Yankees pull off a 1-0 win. They put up an unbelievable pitching performance against one of the best offenses in the American League, not even just the American League, all of baseball, quite frankly. Luis Severino battled. I felt like, despite not having the crispest of command, he was able to get the job done. And, overall, I felt like he pitched a pretty good game. So, the bullpen also comes in and does a job. Clay Holmes continues to look immortal. Ron Marinaccio has a nice little bounce back inning. Still a little worried about Wandy, but, didn't cost you tonight. So you're not too concerned. But with that being said, Dylan, I know there was really only one scoring play. So, not really a lot to talk about on the offensive side of the ball. But what are your reactions, instant thoughts, all that stuff after this win?
Well, instantly, I think, the pitching was phenomenal once again. Like you said, Severino got a much needed bounce back outing. 6 innings of shutout baseball, gave just 5 hits, allowed 2 walks, but struck out 4. Obviously wasn't like an amazing performance, but it was a much needed good performance for Sevy, who's just pretty much had a rough go all season. The bullpen did its thing once again. Tommy Canley, how about Tommy Canley? He's been absolute nails. He pitched another scoreless inning. I don't think he's given up an earned run yet this season. He's been awesome, straight up been awesome. I'm really happy to see him back here. And Wandy Peralta's continued to struggle, unfortunately. It's been the other side of the baseball card for him. Today he pitched just a third of an inning, gave up 2 hits. He gave up those 2 hits in the 8th inning, and then he struck out. I think it was Nathaniel Lowe, but then got taken out for Clay Holmes, who has also been nails lately. Came in with a big jam going on. He got 2 big outs and got a strikeout, including in that. So really happy to see what Holmes did. And Ron Marinaccio, he hadn't pitched in a while. He had pitched, I think the last time they said he pitched was like Saturday or Sunday from this past week, probably in the doubleheader against Boston. So I was a little concerned seeing him come in to go for a save. Honestly, I was, and when he gave the hit to Jonah Heim and then the walk to Mitch Garver kind of, solidified my concerns a little bit. But then he got out of it. He struck out the next 2 guys and then got Marcus Semien to pop out, who had 3 out of the Rangers' 8 hits in the game. So was really impressed with the fact that he was able to get out of it. Yes, I was a little concerned of him getting in that jam in the first place, but the fact that he was able to get out of it is huge. And, while, like you said, offensively was just another quiet night. It was Billy McKinney once again with a home run. I mean, it feels like he's quite frankly been the only offensive piece that's got it going so far. Anthony Rizzo's starting to bounce back, yes, but Stanton has still looked terrible at the plate. Torres has been in a slump of late. And then the rest of the guys are just doing whatever. Yeah, Stanton got a hit today, but he still hasn't looked very comfortable at the plate. So I'm not going to really say that Stanton has like broken out of his slump just yet. But Billy McKinney has been a pleasant surprise. He's hitting 320. He's got, I think, 4 home runs and like 7 or 8 RBIs. He's been doing his thing. He's been doing his thing. And it's unfortunate that the rest of the offense around him hasn't been doing much, but it shouldn't be going unnoticed what Billy McKinney has been doing because it is pretty impressive, and he's quickly finding a way to get in a higher spot in the batting order. Today, I think he hit like 6th or something like that. Usually he was hitting like 7th or 8th. So he's been a pleasant surprise, but offensively, that's really the only thing I can really talk about because, quite frankly, yes, we won this game, but the offense overall stunk once again. We only had 4 hits. So we just got to hope that tomorrow, with Garrett Cole on the mound, that we can find a way to get another win and win a big series against the Texas Rangers team that has been very good. It's encouraging that we were able to shut down this Rangers offense to 0 runs, considering just how good they have been this season. But I still want to see the Yankees offense production improve. We got pretty grim news about Aaron Judge this morning with his toe. They said he tore a ligament or something like that now. So looks like he might be out a little longer than we thought. I remember the last time we were live, I think I had said that maybe he'd be back by the end of the month. Scratch that. He's not going to be back by the end of the month. I don't even know if he'll be back after the All-Star break. He might not return till like August at this point. I don't want to get too like pessimistic about it, but it's not a good outlook right now. He's still walking with pain, so he's not able to progress very far in his rehab at this moment. So the rest of the guys just need to step up while Judge is out. It's as simple as that. And they still haven't done that. We're kind of lucky we got this win today, thanks to, once again, good pitching. It's been kind of insane how good the pitching has been and how horrible the offense has been since Judge went down. We're like first in every pitching stat, but we're literally dead last in every offensive stat. It's literally night and day on that side of baseball, and it's just been it hasn't been fun to watch. But you know what? what? I'm not going to get too bleak today. We did win today's game, and I'm really happy with what the pitching did today. So we can at least be a little positive about today's game. But I think it's reasonable to still be concerned about the offense. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so one of the big things I feel like are really important for us to talk about when it comes to this team's ability to compete, as you mentioned, number one, Aaron Judge, when is he going to come back? And the offense, right? It still feels like a lot of the guys you need to step up aren't stepping up, right? Bill McKinney has been excellent, and he's one of the biggest reasons why the Yankees are even remotely competitive in games at times. But it can't just be him. It can't be that Stanton's going out there with a WRC plus under 80, that Rizzo's going out there having terrible swing decisions. That really can't happen. And I ultimately feel like, the Yankees are going to be fine if they're able to survive and give you any sort of offense. But without Judge, the outlook is bleak. And I understand, again, as you mentioned, we won today, so you don't want to get too bleak. But would you rather have won today and not had it? And would you rather have won today and not have Judge for a month, or would you rather have lost today and had Judge tomorrow? So that's kind of how I view it. It's a tough situation. It's hard to have any positives after you find out you don't have Aaron Judge and your offense continues to struggle. But with that being said, I think it's a good point for us to kind of go into the comments and see what we got going on here. So let's start off with Trevor, who says hello and has a couple of questions to rattle off for us. Luis Severino versus the best or second best offense in MLB, LFG. Yep, I think that was awesome. Billy McKinney should stay regardless. We get Bellinger and a righty. I think Billy McKinney, I want to see more of a sample size. I'm not entirely ready to start crowning someone a starter for a postseason environment in 15 games into their Yankee career. But if he continues to hit, and I think all the signs point to the fact that he's made tangible changes and tangible growth, even if it's just a 110 to 115 WRC plus bat, because he's a better defender than Bowers, you'd rather have him out there. I think that'd be a pretty nice player to have, in the bottom third or the bottom four of your order. And I think he could carve out a starting role. But even then, you're going to have Bader in center field, Judge in right field, Stanton's your DH. I'm not really sure if there's a hole available if you acquire someone, to acquire someone and then still play McKinney. But I don't know. Dylan, what are your thoughts on McKinney potentially being a starter here?
Right. So, I mean, I'm kind of where you are on it. I don't want to say McKinney should be starting just yet. It has only been 15 games or something like that. He's been producing in those games. Don't get me wrong. But, do I want to sit here and be like, yeah, he's definitely our solution now to the left field spot. He's the guy that needs to be starting. No, I don't want to reach that conclusion yet. Quite frankly, he will slow down at some point. I don't think he's going to keep playing at this pace all season long. I don't. If he does, that'd be awesome, but I don't expect that out of him. It's Billy McKinney after all, not like Aaron Judge or someone like that. No disrespect to Billy McKinney. I'm just saying he doesn't really have a track record. So I can't really see why I can sit here and say, yeah, I expect him to continue to do this. No, I can't. But what I will say is he has been putting up some good looking at bats. He's been putting up much more professional at bats than the rest of the guys in the lineup. And that kind of says something about the rest of this offense and as a general whole right now. Billy McKinney was someone they just had him come up here because we badly needed an outfielder and need someone to replace Aaron Judge's spot on the roster, and he's come through. So I'm happy he's come through, but I'm not going to sit here and say he should be starting just yet full time. Do I think he should stay and kind of see what else he can do? Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think he deserves a bit of a longer leash given what he's been showing capable of right now. Do I think that he can't be used as a trade piece though? No, he can definitely be used as a trade piece. And if other teams find him valuable, you got to trade him right away if it's for the right guy. If it's for Bellinger or someone that might actually be a long-term withstanding impact on the Yankees and someone that can, make us a better team than we are right now in October. Because, it's a whole different landscape right now doing good in the regular season than October. For all we know, if we keep Billy McKinney around and he's he kind of levels off a little bit in the regular season. He might even end up being worse in October if we stick with him all the way through. And I'm not saying that's a Billy McKinney thing. That's what happens to a lot of players. So Billy McKinney is vulnerable for that to happen to him as well. That's just kind of how it is. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm not saying that Billy McKinney needs to stay. No, right now he's doing just fine. But if a team wants him for a good player that we want to go get, then you got to put him on the table. You can't just leave him off the table because he's doing good in a 15 game stretch. If that makes any sense. What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't think the Yankees are going to be asked to dangle McKinney as a trade piece, or I don't imagine he would be. But that is kind of interesting to think about. I mean, I don't think he'd stop any deals, but I'm excited to see him continue to play. I think he'll compete for a spot, but just kind of looking at what he can give you, whether it's off the bench, whether it's as a starter, I think he sticks on this roster. And I'm pretty confident he's made changes. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see there, but I'm going to trend towards being positive and thinking, hey, maybe the Yankees unlock something here. Sure. Also, should we get Heimer Candelario? I think we should. I don't trust DJ right now. Donson's washed. I don't trust AAA Merchant Peraza to be a savior. I think calling him a AAA Merchant is a little bit much. But I do like Candelario as a fit. He's a really good defensive player. He has pretty good plate discipline, decent power. He hits a lot of doubles. He's kind of like when Eduardo Escobar was pretty good. He's a really good defensive third baseman. He has good base running value. I think he's an overall pretty solid player. Another kind of example here would be 2017, where they did not have a third baseman, and they acquired Todd Frazier to be that third baseman. Or no, I think it was like the first base issue. They didn't have a first baseman because Bird was hurt a lot. Combination of both. But Frazier comes in, had a similar WRC plus to how Candelario does now. He was a pretty big piece for that Yankee team. He keeps the Yankees defense strong. And again, I think he could be a better hitter, and he's a switch hitter, which is a nice perk. So I would really like Candelario on this team. What do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, I don't think Jeimer Candelario would be a bad fit, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but I don't think he'd be a bad fit at all. I think he'd be solid, like you said, decent defender, decent hitter, gets a lot of doubles, good plate discipline. He's a switch hitter as well, I'm pretty sure. So, it might be better than what we got right now, because the left side of the infield is a giant gaping hole right now. DJ and Donaldson both got benched today. They both got benched. Those are the guys that are supposed to be platooning third base. They both got benched. You can't play either of them right now. He played IKF over both of them. That should say something. That should say something about the production that DJ and Donaldson are providing right now, especially Donaldson. Donaldson, man, I don't know what in the world is going on with that man, but his spot does not look safe at all whatsoever. Especially after getting benched for the second game in a row. It's not looking good for him, and rightfully so. It's been bad. I don't, I'm running out of, I'm struggling to come up with the word to describe it because it's been that bad. Like yesterday, seeing Billy McKinney get pinch hit for Donaldson was like, what? I understand the rationale behind you want a righty versus a lefty. It's Josh Donaldson, man. You're not getting much of a difference. I'm sorry. It's not. It's no different. Like it's Josh Donaldson. You would have been better off sticking with McKinney in that situation. Honestly, it's really you're really not getting much of a difference in that situation. I don't know how good McKinney is against lefties, but I would imagine that still, regardless, that bringing in Donaldson in that situation just made little sense. I mean, I don't see rationale behind that, So, with that being said, though, just kind of wrap up my point. Like, yeah, someone like Jeimer Candelario could be a solid fit. It'd be better than what we got right now. It's as simple as that. Is it like the big splash acquisition? No, absolutely not. But is it an upgrade? At this point, yeah, it is an upgrade. So that's kind of where I'm at on it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the Yankees are going to have to piece together a pretty creative deadline and kind of just try to get better at the margins and hope that Judge comes back and becomes like that offensive leader he was before. If you find depth in that lineup and you figure out ways to get runs on the board or just base runners on the base paths while Aaron Judge is out, or when Aaron Judge comes back in, those runs will score a lot more and you're going to have a better time in the postseason. It feels like this team is top heavy at times. I think just deepening out their lineup would definitely help. And Candelario is not going to cost you an arm or a leg. He's a 1-year rental. Isn't going to be like, as you mentioned, not like a game changer. So it's not like you have to really pay much. You'll probably throw in a top 30 guy, make a swap, and boom, you have a pretty good third baseman on your team. I'm pretty sure he leads the National League in F4, if I'm not mistaken, for third baseman, which is interesting. But moving on a little bit here, we should get Cody Bellinger, a right-handed swinging outfielder, a third baseman, Candelario O'Donovan, and a starting pitcher that can start and be a reliever if needed as insurance for the rotation. So I think I'm not out on Bellinger, but I would be more in on a right-handed outfielder so I could platoon McKinney in that right-handed outfielder or Bowers in that right-handed outfielder. I think one of those guys can at least be really good against right-handed pitching. Lane Thomas comes to mind here. I think Lane Thomas would be an excellent fit for this team. I do agree that we need a third baseman. I think Candelario would be a good fit. I think Donovan would be an amazing fit. For a starting pitcher that could start and be a reliever as well, I think like an easy fix to that would be like a Lucas Giolito type. The starting pitching market isn't excellent, so there's that. But I wonder if the Yankees do like a prospect swap or trade a starting pitcher like a Schmidt for a position player with years of control. I wonder if they could do that. I don't know, but I do agree with the overall points made here. And also you mentioned a reliever. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to need a reliever, but it would be nice to grab one. So I don't know. What do you think, Dylan?
Right. Right. I mean, these are good options right here. And like you said about Bellinger, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm not over here like praying for Bellinger to come to the Yankees or anything, or like being the guy that's like Bellinger has to come to the Yankees right now. No, I'm not going to be like that cuz he has leveled off a little bit. I know he's not hitting like 300 anymore or something like that, but I do think he's still a good player, so I do think he's still worth keeping an eye on at least. And I kind of agree with you about the platooning McKinney with a right-handed outfielder. I like Lane Thomas. I honestly do. I've grown more intrigued to him. This season. Last season I kind of just viewed him as just a whatever player, but right now I could view him as a pretty important piece to a Yankees team. Should they trade for a guy like him, I think he's having a very productive season, and I feel like that you kind of got to take advantage of him having that productive season by bringing him on right now. Obviously, when Judge is back, the outfield is still gonna, we'll still have that issue in left field a little bit. Maybe you could slide Thomas over there. I don't know. I don't know if he plays left field. I don't even know exactly what position he is. I just know he's a hitting outfielder. But with that being said, I like the idea of platooning like him and McKinney, like, having Thomas hit against lefties, McKinney against righties, or whatever you want to mix it up. In the third baseman situation, I like Brendan Donovan. I do. I think he's, solid contact hitter. I think he'd be someone we would need to kind of just get some guys on base and jumpstart an offense, because right now they need anything to jumpstart offense, whether it's a home run hitter or a base hitter or whatever, just someone that isn't going to hit 210 and strike out a lot. So, I would definitely invite that kind of fit. And, the starting pitching thing, like you said, with Lucas Giolito, I'm down for that as well. I feel like the starting pitching is the least of our priorities at the moment. Yes, starting pitching is a little bit desolate, but I feel like the main core issue is the offense by a mile, and it's not even close. So I feel like you have to go examine bats from outside teams first before you look at pitchers. Getting a pitcher is fine. I know the starting pitching is not exactly fully healthy, so that's fine. I understand, and I know Herman has been struggling lately. And I know we kind of have that fifth spot that's kind of unopened, that's kind of just open right now. We had Johnny Brito just start there. Randy Vasquez took a start there. It's kind of just there right now. We don't even have like a set fifth starter. So I understand maybe getting a starting pitcher, but Rodon is coming close to coming back. I think he's on his rehab right now, so he'll be back here soon. And pretty soon we'll kind of have a relatively established set five for the time being of Cole, Rodon, Sevy, Clark, and probably Herman. They're probably going to stick with him, I imagine, for the time being. If you want to go get like Lucas Giolito to replace Herman, that would work. That would work perfectly fine. And if you want to have, let's say you throw Giolito into the rotation and make Herman the long relief pitcher, that works. It works. But I think the point I'm trying to make is that that's not my number one priority. My number one priority, the offense, because this offense is awful to watch right now. Straight up awful. Like, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it or anything. They're literally dead last in every major offensive category pretty much this entire month. They're a bad offense. They're a horrible offense. So yeah, they need to address that first and foremost. If they don't address that at all, it's a colossal failure of a deadline, really. I'm being completely honest at this point, because where we're looking at right now, we might not see Aaron Judge again until August. That's a possibility. It is even possible. It's not likely, but it is possible. We might not see Aaron Judge again this season. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but there is a chance. There's a very small chance, but there is a chance. So if they don't address the offense at all, that's a massive problem. That's a massive, massive problem. Simple as that.
Yeah, they're gonna need help. They're gonna need help, and they're gonna need it soon. They're gonna have to play well enough to deserve the help, because they're not gonna bow on a team that either one, A, doesn't have Aaron Judge, and B, isn't playing well. So they're gonna have to prove something. They're gonna have to. So we'll have to wait and see on that front. And yeah, I mean, they're gonna need a lot. So we'll monitor that. I knew Herman was gonna fall off a cliff again. People actually thought he was the Yankees' real ace. I've always been a Herman skeptic. He just kind of proved me right. I mean, he does this every year. He gets off to a good start, then pitches like crap, and then now he's no longer that good. He's just doing it again. That's how I view it, Dylan. I don't know if you feel differently, if you maybe a little more optimistic about Herman's chances here.
No, I'm honestly losing optimism. After the Boston start, I was like, all right, one bad start, fix it around, in the next start. No, he was awful against Seattle, possibly even worse. So, yeah, I'm not very confident in Herman, going forward. I know just a week ago we said Herman is like level 2 on the trust meter or whatever we want to call it, but yeah, he's fallen down that meter a lot. I mean, he did not do very good the last two starts. We're not going to sugarcoat it at all. They weren't just bad starts. He got absolutely blitzed in them. So Yeah, I'm losing faith in him, and whether he becomes the long-term fifth starter for the rest of this season depends what they do at the deadline. It depends what they do at the deadline. But do I want him to kind of stay in that fifth spot? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to keep pitching like this, or even if he levels off a little bit, but just becomes more subpar rather than how he was doing in the month of May. Then what's really the point? I'm stuck on him. I'm stuck on him because I want him to pitch. He was pitching good, so I'm like, okay, maybe he can go back to that. But after these last two starts, I'm a little discouraged. I'm honestly a little discouraged. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
Way I view it is that I think Clark Schmidt's better than Domingo Herman. So if they need to stay with between one of the two for a fifth starter, I think it'll be him. I wonder what they do with Herman. I really do. He doesn't have options. So in terms of like minor league options, so I wonder what they'll do if he's really struggling. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to monitor, interesting to see.
Yeah, and Clark Schmidt is also pitching to a 1.97 ERA in his last five starts, I think it was, right? Five or six starts, something like that. Point is, over the past month, he's been pitching to a sub 2 ERA. I think that's like the second best in the American League or something like that. So, yeah, you got to stick with Clark. He seems like he's figured it out. I'm really happy he's figured it out over a good period of time, too. Not just like one or two starts where he looked good. No, he's been pitching phenomenal over the past month. So, got to stick with that. And he's been the hot hand, so you stick with it.
Yep, I don't disagree with you, and I think Schmidt has some more upside. So we'll wait and see on that front. Luis Severino loves day games. Also, nice bounce back from today. Looked very good. Yeah, I still want to see him consistently get strikeouts, walk a few fewer guys, but can't lie, was definitely not. It's definitely not upset by this outing. Dylan, what do you think about this outing, and do you think this is one that he can kind of use to build off for confidence?
I think this was a very solid outing for Sevy. Was it a perfect outing? No. But was it a much needed type outing for Sevy? Absolutely. He needed an outing like this, shutout ball through 6 innings against one of the best offenses in baseball, if not the best, so I was encouraged by what I saw from Sevy today. He looked a little better his last start as well. Yeah, it wasn't perfect, but he did look a little better. So I'm hoping he's starting to kind of get into a groove a little bit and figure things out. His stuff looked pretty good today. Wasn't amazing, it wasn't perfect, but it was very good. So I'll take it. I'll take it any day of the week. Simple as that.
Yeah, I'll disagree. Just hope you keep getting outings like this, and then he progressively gets better. The Yankees need to consistency in the rotation right now, and if Severino can step up, it'll really help this team. Trade Donaldson and Peralta. Donaldson doesn't have trade value, and Peralta, I don't think I'm going to give up on Peralta in June when he's been good for most of the year prior to this point. So, Dylan, I imagine he's knocked down the trust tree a little bit, but do you think Wandy's bouncing back? Because I think he will.
Yeah, he's fallen down the trust tree a little bit. I definitely agree with that. I mean, today he looked rough again. It was like another rough outing in the past month. It's been a rough month in June for Wandy. Simple as that. But, he's been such a reliable arm for the past year or so that he's been with the Yankees. Pretty much the time he's been with the Yankees, he's been a pretty reliable arm. So I can't imagine that he's just fallen off this quickly. I feel like, he'll bounce back. It could just be a rough week. Someone we could really be a little more concerned about, Michael King. He's been, terrible, quite frankly, over this month. And I don't know if that's like just the fact that he hadn't pitched in a while prior to the season because he missed the second half of last season with the injury, or if he's just going through it, or if it's just a rough stretch, whatever. I don't know, but I think his struggles are a little more alarming than Wandy, honestly, because Michael King. He'll come into a game, and he'll be coming in to try to protect a 1-run lead, give up the lead in less than 5 pitches, and then look good. But that's not going to cut it. You have to be good right out as soon as you come out of that bullpen. So I think that's a little more concerning. And the time he came against Boston in the doubleheader, he got absolutely shelled. He got lit up. So, and they were all with 2 outs, I'm pretty sure. So, he's the one that I'm more concerned about over Peralta. I think Peralta can figure things out. I'm worried about Michael King. I think Michael King can turn it around, but I am worried about him. I think it's reasonable to be worried about him as well.
I don't disagree with you at all. I do not disagree with you in the slightest. I think King will turn it around, but it's got to get better. It's got to get better soon because the Yankees need these wins. They really do, and they can't keep relying on these guys and having them turn in terrible outings. So, we'll wait and see there on that front. That's definitely going to be an interesting thing to monitor as the season carries on. And moving on a little bit here, Stan's been horrible for at least a month to a month and a half when he comes off of the injured list. I don't know. I think this is new. This is since the All-Star break of last year that he's been pathetic. This is not a good situation we're in. Dylan, what do you have to say about that? Because I'm starting to lose it here a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. With Stanton, it's extremely alarming. Like, okay, I was expecting him to struggle a little bit when he came back. I was. For this long and this bad, no. I thought by now he would have figured it out. He looks just lost at the plate. Like, lost. I mean, he got that single earlier, but then in the like 7th or 8th inning, he had that bat where he swung behind a sinker like about 2 minutes late. Like, he was so far behind that pitch that, like, I was like, God, what are you seeing up there? Now maybe you could say that was because of shadows or something like that, because I know the shadows were kind of affecting the hitters a little bit, and it was a weird start time for the game. But at the end of the day, Stanton's been kind of doing that for the past few weeks since he came back. So, like, it's concerning. I mean, like you said too, it's been since the All-Star break of last season. I think I saw a stat. He was hitting like 166 since that point of last season entering today. That's bad. That's really, really bad. That's Joey Gallo levels of bad. I can't believe I'm saying that, because Joey Gallo was insanely bad. And I'm not saying that Giancarlo Stanton is on the Joey Gallo trend. I hope that's not the case. I really hope he doesn't end up in that route. But it's been bad. Like, by this point, I really thought Stanton would have figured things out a little bit and just be somewhat productive. He looks lost at the plate. I can't trust him at the moment. He looks insanely lost. I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know if it's, an adjustment thing that he's going through. I don't know if it's the injury, if he never really, the lack of rehab games. He's only played one. I don't know what it is, but it's bad. It's really bad. Like, it's to the point where it's like, how much longer can you trust him to go out there and produce? If he's just going to continue to give you, 0 for 3s with 2 or 3 strikeouts every night, and once in a while get a hit. He got that single to left field today, which was an encouraging sign. But then the next 2 at bats looked lackluster again. So, it's concerning. It's very alarming. I think this is a little different. I honestly do think this is different than his past slumps, because we've seen him go into slumps before, where he kind of slumps for a couple weeks, but then he turns it on a heater and just you can't get the guy out. Right now, I don't know when that'll come, because right now he just looks completely lost. Like, completely lost. I haven't seen anything like this from Stanton really ever. This is the worst slump of his career, in my opinion. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's got to get better, because it's not getting better, and we're starting to get into panic mode here with Stan. So I don't know. It's got to get better. It's got to get better now.
You can only
Because
argue that it's getting worse, if anything.
yeah, it's got to get better.
The boo birds are raining down on him. He's getting him and Josh Donaldson have been getting boo birds like crazy lately. And quite frankly, I'm not one to say boo your own players, but it's justified for those two guys, man. They've been slumping like crazy, and they're supposed to be producing. You know, booing them in the stadium is a justifiable thing. If you do anything to them outside the stadium, that is not justifiable. I just want to make that clear. I'm not like, endorsing player attacks or anything like that. No, absolutely not. But, when you criticize the performance on the field, it's justifiable to get upset at them, because, they're supposed to be producing and they're not. And, yes, I understand it's frustrating for those guys, because I'm sure they don't want to go through slumps either, but, you know, it's not acceptable. We can't just sit here and go, oh, well, they're trying. No, we need them to produce right now. We are in dire straits. We're barely clinging on to a wild card spot right now. And yes, I know it's a little early in the season to be, thinking about that, but we might not have Judge for a while. So we might be floating around this kind of pace for the next month or two. We might be. We could even fall in a downward spiral. We could maybe we do get hot somehow and win a bunch of games. The Oakland A's won 7 games in a row this year, so you never know what these guys might be able to do. But I'm not going to sit here and say the Yankees are destined to win the next 7 games. But the point I'm trying to make is anything could happen with this team, but it really begins with the guys like Stanton, Donaldson, Rizzo, DJ, those guys turning it around. The only one I really can't see turning around at all is Donaldson. I can't see him turning it around whatsoever. I think Donaldson is done. I honestly think he's done. But Stanton, I'm holding out hope that he can turn it around, because I've seen him do it before. But I really want it to happen right now. And I'm kind of getting sick of waiting to kind of play the guessing game of when will that happen. Today I was like, okay, when he got the single, I was like, okay, is this the day he finally breaks out of that slump, gets a couple hits, maybe even a home run? No, it wasn't. He turned in 2 more bad at bats after that. So I was like, he's back to where it was before that. Well, on to the next day, I guess. And tomorrow they face
Yep.
Nathan Eovaldi. So
It's
The
gonna be a tough
confidence in him
cookie.
turning it, it's gonna be a tough one. So the confidence in turning it around exactly tomorrow isn't very high at the moment. But it's Giancarlo Stanton. He's an amazing hitter. He got a big track record of being an amazing hitter. So let's just hope tomorrow is the day he turns it around against a good pitcher. Could be a good
Yeah,
confidence boost for him too if he does it against a good pitcher like Evaldi. So just gotta hope that happens. Simple as that.
that's all you can do. All you can do is hope right now, and I think right now that's the Yankees gonna have to hope that certain guys can turn it around. That's the only way it's gonna get better from here on forward. So with that being said, call up what I assume is they're saying Chaparro for third base. Chaparro is not really third baseman defensively. He's still struggling a little bit in AAA. His WRC plus around 90. He's still trying to figure that level out. So I don't know if that's the move I'd make. But third base is definitely not pretty. I think the Yankees are going to have to either go with Peraza or go externally. So I wonder what they choose to do there. Dylan, I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked much into what Chaparro's been doing, but it's an idea to think about. Simple as that. I mean, last year they called up Cabrera because they badly had holes at third base. So, and Cabrera ended up becoming a utility guy, but a guy that clearly needs to go back to AAA. But they needed something to fill in that left spot, and that's why they called up Cabrera. You know, who knows? Maybe they do the same thing with Chaparro. Who knows? I mean, I can only just say who knows at this point because right now I'll take anything right now because that left side of the infield is terrible, awful. DJ's been slumping still, and I know for DJ, I saw he talked to the Athletic or something, and he said like it's very frustrating and all that stuff, but I understand that. But, at the end of the day, he's still struggling really bad. So they got to do something about it. Whether it's he fixes it, he figures it out, works with the coaches or something, or they have a guy come up and kind of threaten DJ's spot. It may get to that point. It may have to get to that point. I feel like Donaldson's spot is already like gone. I honestly feel like it's gone at this point. He got benched 2 days in a row for IKF. So I feel like Donaldson is kind of a lost cause at this point. He might still find a way to get at bats while he's still on the team, but I don't think he's going to be playing every day anymore. I really don't think he will be anymore. So with that being said, who knows what they do about that? Maybe they call up Chaparro. Maybe they don't. I don't know. They need to do something about third base, though. That's all it needs to be said. They need to do something. They can't keep rolling out these guys at third base anymore. They can't.
Yeah, I do not disagree with you at all, man. I don't. I think it's got to get better before got to get better before it gets worse because the AL wild card is extremely competitive. The AL wild card is definitely not something you want to necessarily fall too far behind. A very good team this year is going to be left out of the postseason. The Astros, the Yankees, and the Blue Jays are fighting for spots, but so are the Angels, and so are those Orioles who they look like they're going to grab one of those spots. So you're going to be in a situation where one of the Blue Jays, one of the Mariners, one of the Yankees, they're not going to make it. And again, you do not want to be that team. Don't want to be that team. But with that being said, we'll see what they do at third. I think they can figure something out. Again, I think, but I'm not sure. Billy McKinney is already better than Florial, though, Ryan, at least. Yep, I win that narrative. I love winning narratives, Dylan. This is honestly one of my 5 or 6 greatest joys. It's when I win a narrative. Being right on Twitter sometimes matters so much more than everything else, So it's important to me. It means something to me.
No, I
But
feel you, dude. I
thoughts?
feel you. I feel you, man. And to kind of just give my thoughts on this comment right here. Yeah, he pretty much is already. I mean, Florial's been cool in AAA and all that. I know he's been raking. I think he leads like his league in home runs or something like that, or is close to it. I know he has a career high in that too for his minor league career. But McKinney's already shown me more of what he can do than Florial has done at the big league level. And the big league level is what matters to me. I don't care. At the end of the day, Florial can do what he wants to do in AAA, but if he's not, translating that into Major League Baseball, what's the point? That's why I keep coining him as the quadruple A player. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Florial. He's been, I really wish Florial panned out here. I really do, because if he did, he could have been a very good center fielder for the New York Yankees. Very good defensively. Could have had a close to a 5-tool player in that spot. That's what kind of potential he held, but he hasn't translated that at all whatsoever. And he has one option left. So they're not just going to call him up to call him up. They're going to call him up if they feel like he can, stay on the roster. And McKinney has done more than that so far. So why not stick with McKinney? You know what I mean? I mean, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, and McKinney again, former top prospect. So you never know. You never know. Sometimes you just figure it out. Some guys are late bloomers. Hopefully that's what you got here. I mean, this is referring to earlier when we talked about Bellinger having McKinney on the bench. If you get two outfielders this deadline, yes, absolutely. I want him around the team. I think he's great. Um, Green Destiny, how you doing? He asks, have you watched DJ swing lately? Off balance weight on front foot. Honestly, I'm not really sure what's wrong with DJ, but something's wrong with DJ because he's not just not hitting well; he's striking out a lot. So, yeah, Dylan, got any DJ? You got any help for DJ here?
Just find your stroke somehow, man, because it's not even just like one little thing that might be messing him up. No, it's just everything looks off. He's striking out a lot. He's not getting hard hit balls. Like he had the double yesterday, I think it was. He had that double, which was encouraging, but that was really the hardest hit ball I've seen DJ hit almost all season. So, you know, just a lot of things aren't going right for him. Whatever it is, needs to fix it. Needs to work with his coaches and fix that because it's not working. It is not working. He's not swinging the bat well at all. He's not getting any power. He's not getting any exit velo. He's just hitting it on the ground. He's not really, pop ups. He's undercutting on inside pitches, so he's popping the ball up. Like, you know, I don't know what it is, but he needs to figure it out. He needs to figure it out because you can't keep throwing the guy in the lineup like this if he's going to keep swinging at that. You can't. So he needs to figure it out like now because I mean this is the third time he's gotten benched in this week, So this has to like get to him that this is like you need to turn it around now. This is getting serious.
Yeah, it's got to happen. It's got to happen now. It has to. We need someone to step up there, and if they don't, well, we're gonna be in a pretty tough spot. We're gonna be in a pretty tough spot this year. I just see this right now as a Billy versus Bauer showdown. If or when the Yankees ever become healthy again, yeah, I think these two will be battling for a roster spot as well. I think McKinney's gonna have a little bit of a leg up as a guy who can play defense. I think Bauer's, is gonna try to win it with his larger sample size of good hitting, but we'll have to wait and see on that front. I think right now Billy's in the lead here right now. What do you think, Justin? Well, I said Justin. Dylan.
He called me my brother.
I don't I don't even know.
It's all good, man. I'm used to it all the time in person. I have a twin brother, so I get used to it all the time in person. Anyway, with that being said, just to look at this comment here, yeah, I agree. Billy McKinney is, kind of leading that Billy versus Bowers type of battle for left field. And I agree. Billy has the advantage for defensively. He's shown some more pop with the bat. Jake Bowers has been fine with the bat too, but I think just the fact that Billy can play better defense and provide close to the same level of production with the bat as Bowers has been doing, if not more, then the advantage goes to Billy McKinney. Pretty simple as that. Billy McKinney has more athleticism, more power, better defense. So simple as that. He's just, he's got the better tool set. He's got the better skills and better tools. And, so far he's shown quite a lot in his short time here. So, he's fighting for that roster spot. He wants it. He really wants it. I can tell. He wants it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that McKinney can end up keeping his job. Really, I think he can do it. We'll have to wait and see on that front. Definitely need a better hitting coach with so many struggling with no improvement. Yeah, some of these struggles are going to cause some concern about whether the Yankees need a new hitting coach. I think they're warranted. We don't know what's necessarily going on in there, but I think you and I can agree. You at least call into question what the coaching situation is there when you're performing at this level.
No, you definitely do. Because at this point, all teams go through offensive slumps at some point. They all do. But for this long and this bad, that's unprecedented. It's unprecedented what we're seeing right now, what the Yankees doing. I don't think I've seen the offense for the Yankees look this bad ever or in a very long time. There may be some other Yankee fans that say, "Oh, this time they were this bad, this that." In recent memory, I can't remember the last time the Yankees offense looked this bad. This bad. I've seen them look really bad before. They were bad in the postseason last year. They were bad in the second half last year. They were bad in 2021, bad in 2020, all this stuff. This bad though, this is like lottery team type bad, fighting for a draft pick type bad offense right now. The fact that they won today is shocking. 1 run on 4 hits. They like against the Texas Rangers, whose offense has been insane this season. So, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to be too negative about, about today because they did win today. I'm very happy they won today because they badly needed this win. Huge win against the Texas team. But it's still reasonable to complain about the offense when it only scored you 1 run. It's still reasonable to get mad about it because the offense has had yet another quiet night. And it's like, okay, it's at this point, is it the players or is it the coaching? Is it both? What is it? Because there is clearly something. There's something. Like, I haven't seen an entire collective unit of an offense struggle this bad in a very long time. Because this is like bad. This is like I don't even know if the Oakland A's have had this many bad offensive games in a row. I'm being so serious too, and the Oakland A's are 30 games under 500. And I'm not trying to compare the Yankees to the Oakland A's. No, of course not. But the offense has been just bad, man. It's not watchable. It's not. There's a difference between watching a struggling offense, but a couple guys are kind of clicking and getting things going. Nobody is clicking right now, except Billy McKinney. Except Billy McKinney. Everybody else, man, like, what is going on there? Everyone's below average or just awful. Stanton's hitting under 100. Uh, Rizzo's finally getting things going again, but before that, he was hitting like 038 in a 2 week span. Um, Gleyber Torres has slowed down a little bit. DJ LeMahieu has been awful this season. Josh Donaldson's been awful this season. IKF is hitting 240, but it's IKF. He doesn't have all that power or anything like that. It's just a utility guy. The catcher spot, nobody's hitting there either. I mean, there's holes everywhere. There is holes everywhere. It's and Anthony Volpe too. I can't forget about Volpe. I'm not trying to be too hard on Volpe because he's a rookie, but it is reasonable to be upset too because he's struggling too. He's hitting under 200. He's been hitting under 200 all year, which is reasonable to be upset about. It is. So I don't know why Hal Steinbrenner went ahead and said, I don't know why the fans are upset. It's only the third week of June. We're halfway through the season, man. We're halfway through. We are, 78 games in or something like that? 77, 78 games in? It's 162 games. You do the math, you're pretty close to 50%. So I think it's reasonable to be upset at this point. I think it is. We should not only be 7 games above 500. We should be leading our division, double-digit games above 500, all this stuff. No, we're fighting for a wild card spot, and we don't have Aaron Judge for a while. And if the offense continues to play like this, we're going to be in that spot in late September. Where we are right now, we're going to be exactly in that same spot in late September. So,
Yeah, I disagree. I don't. I really don't right now. The offense is truly a disaster and a half. As well, Cabrera should either play or go to double A or triple A and get consistent at bats that are rotting on the bench. Yeah, I think Cabrera would be in triple A right now if it wasn't for the fact that the Yankees are out of 40-man spots. So they can't add someone onto the 40-man. They're not going to call up Pereira to come up for 3 weeks, then go get sent back down. He hasn't even played above triple A. He hasn't even played at triple A yet. If you add someone to the 40-man, you have to DFA someone. I don't think the Yankees are going to DFA Calhoun. That wouldn't make any sense. So they're just keeping Cabrera up right now so that they don't have to lose anyone in the process. So yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to say too, it feels like Cabrera's never going to get actually sent down at this point. He'll go to AAA for 5 minutes and then come right back because someone else went down. I mean, remember Greg Allen? I'm pretty sure a lot of people might have forgotten about Greg Allen already. So, we're down so many players. So Cabrera's kind of just stuck here. And like what you said, we don't have 40-man spots, so they can't just have someone else take that spot. He's kind of just stuck here. I don't even know if Cabrera wants to necessarily be up here right now. He probably wants to fix his swing a little bit in minor leagues, get things right, so he can be a consistent everyday player or close to it in the major league level. Instead, he's kind of stuck on the bench without really getting an opportunity to kind of fine tune his mechanics a little bit. I kind of feel bad for him at this point because the whole point was to send him down to fix him, not send him down because he sucks. No, they send him down to fix him, get him right because they feel like he could be a solid piece for the Yankees going forward. But he's never gotten a chance to go down there. I don't even know if has he even gotten a chance to play a game yet down there?
He's played one.
He played one game in AAA since the time he got sent down, and that was probably before Bader came back, I would assume, right? Am I right about that?
Yep.
That was probably before. Yeah. So he's got one game down there. I mean, players on rehab assignments usually play more than one game. So, I mean, I feel bad for him. I honestly feel bad for him. I feel like he deserves it. He deserves to go down there and kind of fix himself a little bit. He hasn't gotten the chance to do it, and they're not going to throw him in the lineup and just let him rot out in the lineup if he hasn't fine-tuned his stuff yet. Yeah, there's also the argument of, he could develop at the major league level. Clearly, he needs to kind of fine-tune things down there. I feel like he's more comfortable down there. If he could fine-tune some things down there and come right back, it'll help him out a little bit. Jordan Walker got sent down to AAA. He came back up, and he's doing good now too. So it's not like unheard of. And I'm not comparing Oswaldo Cabrera to a top 5 prospect. No, of course not. But I'm just saying there's There's nothing wrong with sending down the young kid down there to kind of fix some things and then come back. We see it all the time. So
Yeah, I don't disagree, man. I don't. I think he needs that. I think he needs to work. I think he needs to work in AAA and just the space to develop. Oliver O'Reilly Highland says this is a stretch. What on Nolan Gorman for third base? They have him a DH because of all the infield spots blocked, and they have plenty of those already. Yeah, could you see like a Clark Schmidt for Nolan Gorman thing? Clark Schmidt's kind of proven himself to be a pretty solid starter with some upside. Cardinals need starting pitching. Yankees could, go to Vasquez or something like that if they really need a fifth starter. Acquire a starter even because when everyone gets back, they'll have Cole, Rodon. Who was Rodon supposed to start today or was it tomorrow? Hold on, because Chase Hampton's pitching today.
I don't remember.
Rodon rehab. I'm trying to double check. Hold on. Tomorrow. Okay. But yeah, he's making his second rehab start tomorrow. So that means he'll have one more after this one if all goes well, and he'll be back. So you have Cole, Rodon, Sevy, Cortez. You just need a 5. You could acquire a 5 for cheap if you were to trade Schmidt. You could see if Herman could piece some things together, and at least be league average for you. That fifth starter is not starting a postseason game, so you're not too concerned. And I think Gorman's a pretty good power bat, a little strikeout heavy, but I think as a left-handed hitter with really good walk rates, it'll work for the Yankees. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I could see something like that. A Nolan Gorman, Clark Schmidt type thing. Like you said, Cardinals need pitching, and we need a third baseman. So it's something to explore. Do I think it'll definitely happen? No, I can't say it definitely will happen, but it's something to explore. And who knows? Maybe they'll shock us again with another Yankees player, Cardinals player, 1-1 swap like they did last year with Montgomery and Harrison Bader. So, there's always the chance for that. And, like you said, I'm okay if they have to like go to Vasquez as number 5 if they really have to. I mean, he's shown decent stuff, and it's a number 5 spot. So it's not like he's like the crucial spot. He's not going to be pitching in October. So if you can get to October and have Vasquez turn in a couple good starts if they need him as a 5th starter, then so be it. But by then it would be, Cole, Rodon, Sevy, possibly Cortez. I don't know when he's coming back, but possibly Cortez, and then that 5th spot. So it's something to explore. Simple as that. I'm open to the idea of it. I'm not going to shut it down just yet. I'm open to it. Anything that'll improve that left side of the infield, because that's at this point. I think it's kind of clear now that the bigger need is more of that third base spot as opposed to left field. And I'm not saying left field is not in need. Left field is a need, but third base is a little more dire right now because we have 2 guys that you literally can't even play. The 2 guys you had to bench on the same game. You had to bench both your third basemen in the same game. That should tell you how bad they've been. That should tell you how bad it is at third base right now. It's a really bad situation. So I feel like that situation is becoming a little more dire than left field at this point. And I still think they need to go get a left fielder. I do. But just to reiterate one more time, third base is becoming my number 1 priority, or that left side.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's got to get better, and I think they can with Nolan Gorman there. So we'll wait and see on that front. Judge pretty much done. Louis G, I'm not sure I can reach that conclusion yet. We don't know, but I don't think that's the likeliest outcome here.
Yeah, I don't think it's likely that Judge misses the rest of the season. If he does, then we're in trouble. If he does, we're in deep trouble. That's all I'm going to say. But what I will say is that the outlook for him returning before the All-Star break is bleak. It's bleak. He might not come back before the All-Star break. If he comes back, it might be like late July, early to mid-August, that type of time range. I know that's not ideal. I'm pretty disappointed in hearing about that. Obviously, I hope the Judge gets better soon. I care about his health more than anything else. But, I was a little disappointed that we didn't know he tore a ligament in his toe this entire time. It's been 20 days now, 21 days. And we had to find out that through Judge himself that he tore a ligament in his toe that the Yankees probably knew about, but just did not want to tell us because they knew we would freak out about it. So I don't really know what much else to say about it other than I just hope he heals fast and gets back to this lineup soon because we badly need him. We badly need him.
That's getting bad. It is getting bad. It's got to get better. John Bloom says, yo, guys, what up, chat? Good win today. Yep, it was a pretty good win. A little bit of a fear one because the offense didn't do anything. They did just enough to win. By just enough, I mean Billy McKinney existed. So there's that. But pitching wise, I mean, it was a great day to be a fan of this pitching staff. So I'll say that at least.
The pitching was good today. So I'm encouraged by the pitching. I'm encouraged.
Yeah,
I was sorry, and it kind of lagged a little bit. if it kind of cut off like that, it lagged a little bit. But anyways, with that being said, we apologize for that. But yeah, the pitching was good today, so it's encouraged. The pitching's still been good, so that's cool and all. The offense just needs to fix things up. They got to figure it out. We can reiterate this all we want during the stream, but you know it's been the same issue since Judge went down. Offense needs to pick it up. The pitching's been doing its thing. The pitching isn't gonna always do this though forever. They're not. The pitching will eventually hit a wall too. They're gonna get cold at some point. We saw it kind of happening against the Boston series. They've bounced back pretty nicely here in this Texas and the Mariners series, minus the Domingo Germán game. But with that being said, the offense needs to pick them up. The pitching can't carry them forever. At the end of the day, you can't win baseball games if you can't score. So you won today by scoring 1 run. You're probably not going to win many more games scoring 1 run. So got to figure it out somehow. Got to.
Yeah, do not disagree. Moving on a little bit here. Crazy thought for short term. Glaber split time in left and second. Volpe at second. DJ at third. Peraza at short. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing Glaber towards left field. I also think you need to play. Yeah, no. I don't really see it. I don't know what you think. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing this at all.
I don't see this happening at all. Honestly, I don't. And it starts with the fact that Gleyber Torres is not touching left field this year. He's not. I know there's been some people saying he should. He's not. He's not going to left field, man. And I personally don't want to see that. I don't think he's experienced enough out there to be just thrown out there in the middle of the season when you need to win games. You can't do that. You can't. I know he hasn't looked amazing at second base. I know. You can't just throw him out there in left field in desperation. You can't do that. And if you try, people are saying to do that just so they can get Peraza up here. You're not gonna throw Gleyber in left field, man. Would you really want to see Gleyber Torres play left field? Let's be real for a second here. Do you really want to see Gleyber Torres play left field? Because I don't. I don't. So.
Do not disagree. I do not want to see him in left field. Not in left field. Trevor says, I'm not to Lane Thomas, to be honest. Plus, I want 2 outfielders, 1 lefty, 1 righty, and have one of Bowers or Billy be with us for insurance. Whereas Benintendi got hot and Carpenter got hurt and cold. Yeah. I understand not being like super into Lane Thomas, but I do think he objectively makes the Yankees better for what you're suggesting as a role here. Because if he plays as a platoon guy, his splits versus righties and lefties are insane. I don't know if you're aware of this. He has a 191 WRC plus against lefties this year, career 144 WRC plus across 403 plate appearances, 17 home runs, 52 RBIs, 305 average, 367 OBP, 19.6% strikeout rate. This is absurd, man. These are absurd numbers. And I think that this would instantly give the Yankees a really nice platoon in the outfield and really help their offense, I think. And also give them a pinch hitter off the bench occasionally.
Yeah. And like what you said, I mean, he's a lefty killer. So, see if you can go get that. It'd be a very good option to platoon with. I'm not saying he's necessarily someone you have to play every single day, but he's someone you can platoon with and play a decent amount and give a serviceable bat off the bench because, my God, our bench is awful. Our bench right now without Willie Calhoun is Donaldson. What was it today? Donaldson, DJ, Trevino, usually be Higgy, and who else? Who am I know I'm missing somebody. There's probably someone I'm missing, but it's not good. It's not good. So, it'd be solid to have, I think. And I don't think you'd have to give up a lot to get Lane Thomas as well. You wouldn't have to give up a whole lot. He'd be pretty cheap. I would be shocked if Washington would have put a high price tag on him. So,
yeah, I do not disagree. Trust me, man. I do not disagree here. I think the Yankees would be in a pretty good spot. They're able to acquire his services.
I just checked the chat too. It was Trevor said it. It was Oswaldo on the bench. So those are the 4 guys on the bench. Point is, those are not good bench options.
Right.
So,
right.
Those aren't good. You can't even put Cabrera in the lineup. They use him as a defensive sub. You can't even put him in the lineup. So, yeah.
No, it's bad. So it's got to get better now. But with that being said, we're going to move on a little bit here. Unpopular opinion, I think we should sell at the deadline, hit the reset button. I'm not there yet. I don't know if you're there yet, but I'm not there yet. I don't really feel like I'm at the point where I'm like, crap. All right, guys, let's start thinking here about
this isn't 2016. I'm not there yet.
Ain't this bad yet.
We're not at that stage yet. we could be wrong, and maybe we fall off an absolute cliff at the end of
That
this
that,
month
that
and
would suck.
leading up to the deadline, and yeah, that would really suck really bad. But let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope that doesn't happen, and that we can make upgrades instead of just selling everybody and hitting
Yeah,
the reset button, because that is a doomsday scenario, and I don't want to get to that point just yet. I'm not ready for that.
don't disagree.
So
Do not disagree. How concerned are you about Dominguez? Do you think Tracy has a shot to play third base for the Yankees next year? This is tough. It's a really good question. I don't think I'm concerned about Dominguez. I want to make that clear. I am not sure. I'm not sure that Trey Sweeney becomes a third baseman of the Yankees. I think he might get traded. So yeah, I don't know. I think he's a likely position player to get
yeah,
traded. So I think. I mean, I could.
I second that.
I think he can
I
do it, but I don't know if he'll get the chance here.
Yeah, I second that. I second it. I mean, that's pretty much all I gotta say. I'm just, I'm not gonna get too worried about Dominguez just yet. He's still young. I'm hoping he can figure it out because we've seen what he's capable of doing. Possible 5-tool switch hitting guy. That'd be awesome. But Trey Sweeney, like you said, could be another trade piece. So don't know. Don't think the chance of him playing in the big leagues for the Yankees at third base next year is highly likely. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. Simple as that.
Yeah, don't disagree. Moving on a little bit here. I think it's time to bring Peraza and Dominguez up. Nothing can hurt us as much as the way we're playing that now. No to Dominguez, yes to Peraza. Switch has got to be made at some point.
This is one
yeah.
of my friends, by the way. This is one of my friends.
Oh, what's good, Zach? Yeah, I don't think Dominguez should come up yet. I don't know. I'm not big on that right now. But I think Peraza should 100%. There's no reason for him not to be here.
Yeah, Peraza. I can have rationale for coming up here. He should be at this point with how bad Donaldson and DJ have been. They got to figure something out and maybe find a way if he's willing to play third base or something. I know you'd rather him play shortstop, and I agree with it. But if it's a matter of just getting a better fielder out there and a better offensive play, they might have to just do that. They might have to. But Dominguez, no, not yet. Not yet. It's too soon for Dominguez. It's too soon. And he's been like we just said, he's been struggling in the minor leagues this year. So you bring him up here now, the chances of him flipping the switch to the major league level aren't exactly high. So yeah, that's kind of just how I feel about it.
Don't disagree. Do not disagree. And I'll be needing a little better. I think young players can help us a little bit, but I don't think Dominguez is there yet. But maybe he gets there at some point during the season. We'll have to wait and see on that front. Triple A's ERAs in the fives this season. Double A's in the mid fours. Yeah, I know the run environment's crazy down there, but Peraza is still 25% better than the league average hitter down there. So I think that's important. But hey, you know what? I don't think he's going to solve all your problems, and I still would rather. I think I'd really like having a guy like Candelario, Brendan Donovan, and kind of see where you go from there. But I know the run environment there is tough. What are trade packages you guys think could help us in the long term? I think you try to go to St. Louis to try to trade for a bat. I think you try to get. It's tough. Like I'm assuming you get Judge back. So I'll take my chances with a Judge lineup that's deep. It's got controllable talent. Promote a couple of guys. Let me see some Austin Wells. I just want to have a team that I feel good about for the postseason and a team I feel good about for next year. So that's really all I'm asking for right now.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Just get bats, man. Well, look at St. Louis, like you said, because they got some hitters that I'm sure they'd be willing to move on from, and the Yankees can definitely offer some pitchers to them. And we need bats badly. So, and the Cardinals are struggling this year. I think they have like the second worst record in the National League or something like that, second or third worst record. So, you know, I think you're gonna find your best potential trade partner with them. I really do, but I also don't know what their splash move is gonna be, and I don't know who that's gonna be with. I don't know if it'll be with the Cardinals or if it's gonna be with a different team like the Cubs or something. I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us and go get someone we didn't expect. I don't think many of us thought they were gonna go get Anthony Rizzo 2 years ago. So maybe they do something like that. I don't know. We're kind of just gonna have to wait and see. I don't know if there's any similar trades like the Rizzo trade was 2 years ago that are kind of available for us to go after. I'm not sure. So we're just going to have to see. But bottom line is they need a bat, and they need bats either in the outfield or on the left side of the infield or both, whatever they can do. But they have to address both those spots because it's bad in those spots. So they have to address it. They have to. If they don't, colossal failure, complete failure. Simple.
Yeah, no, it's got to get better. It has to. I mean, I've said that a million times, but seriously, like, the Yankees really they actually have to have things turn around, and they have to improve offensively. It's just this is not a sustainable way to win baseball games. Winning 1-0. It's not going to work in the postseason. So it's got to get better now, or it's going to get ugly come October if we even get there. But moving on a little bit here, unless we get a big name to replace Judge, it's time to sell. We already talked about this. I don't think we're proponents of selling right now. If Monis, even without Judge, this team could be a contender, but there needs to be a retool of the offense. I agree. I think they can hold their head above water with their pitching and some upgrades offensively, but it's about making the right upgrades. So, yeah, Dylan, I don't think this is too far off base. What do you think?
It's not. I agree. Simple as that. I mean, they should be somewhat keeping their heads afloat right now. The fact that they aren't is disappointing. The fact that we have to, go ahead and make upgrades that we should have made in the offseason right now is disappointing. This could have been. We wouldn't be in this bad of a predicament if we just handled this correctly in the offseason, but we didn't. So here we are right now, looking at who's available and who's not, and we have until August 1st to do it. So do it. Simple. Do it. Because if you don't, we're not getting far this year. It's as simple as that. We're not.
Yeah, don't disagree. It's got to get better now, because if it doesn't get better now, then we're going to be in a pretty tough spot in the upcoming weeks. If Judge is out for the season, God forbid, the Yankees should 2021 Braves his 2023 team. Yeah, I mean, ideally, I think everyone would want to be the team that won the World Series despite losing their best player. But I don't think that's how baseball works. So I'm not sure how realistic that option is.
Yeah, I, I, I,
Yeah,
I wish they do that. I want them to do that. But like you just said, I don't know how realistic that is. The Braves were able to find gems and turn them into postseason heroes. I don't know if the Yankees can do the same. I want them to do the same. I can't say it's definitely going to happen, though. So.
yeah, that's where I'm at here. That's where I'm at here. I don't know. I gotta see it. I gotta see it. So yeah. But moving on a little bit here. Let's see what we've got. Gonna go with this one. I don't think Judge will be out for the season, obviously, but if he is, then I might actually die. I will as well. I will not be performing very well in terms of my livelihood. So yeah,
Yeah. Aaron Judge is my favorite Yankee, so I won't be doing very well either if he has to miss the rest of the season, especially after seeing him make that amazing catch at Dodger Stadium. I will be so upset if that's how his season ends, making that great catch. I'll be so upset. I really hope that doesn't happen. Of course, I just want him to be healthy in the long term, but I would be really upset if he has to miss the rest of the season, man. I want to see the man play. Love Aaron
same.
Judge, man. I want to see the guy
That's my
play.
goat.
He's
My
awesome,
dog.
dude. I
That's my
want
goat.
want to see him play. We're feeling his absence right now with how this offense is performing. So that should just tell you right there how much he means to his team, how much he
Yeah.
means to the franchise. He means a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't disagree. We're stuck without him. Um, Oliver asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about DH and the rest of the season and the rest of his contract? What about Rizzo? More concerned about Stanton than I am about Rizzo. I think that's where I'm at right now. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I feel like I'm a little less concerned
No,
about
I'm
Rizzo than I
I'm
am
agreed.
about. Yeah.
Rizzo's kind of showed that he's starting to figure it out a little bit. He had a couple hits
Yeah.
today, hit the ball well the other night. Stanton, I don't know what's going on. Stanton looks lost, completely lost. The vision's not there. He's back to swinging at those curveballs. He's whiffing on fastballs. He's behind on almost every single pitch. His timing is not there. It's not there. I don't even think it's like a swing issue. His timing is just off. Like way off. It's like he's just missing it. No, he's like completely off. I don't know what he's looking at really at the plate. So I'm definitely more concerned about Stanton than Rizzo at this point. Rizzo was concerning, very concerning. And a week ago, I said I was more concerned about Rizzo. I've changed my stance on that. It's the other way around. I am very worried about Stanton. Very, very worried.
Yeah, I agree. We're not at a great point right now. Not at a good point right now with either of these two, but definitely not Stanton. Moving on a little bit here, we got I lost my place. Where we gotta scroll up a lot. Wow. No, okay, there we go. Would you do this trade? Yankees get Kyle Freeland. This, I guess, the comp pick. They get Josh Johnson, Johnny Brito, Andre Chaparro. Kyle Freeland sucks. I would do the trade to get rid of a lot of the Josh Johnson contracts, but like, is Kyle Freeland really better than Johnny Brito? I don't know. So it's like, would I really do that trade? I don't really know. If we're cheap enough.
This
We're like,
this this trade gives
you know,
me Andrew Heaney flashbacks.
yeah, I don't know. I
So
don't like it.
like you know I understand you to get rid of Donaldson, and that I'm cool with. Yes, I want to get rid of Donaldson in that case. If he has any trade value, that's a win. It's an absolute win. But to get Kyle Freeland, I don't know about that one. Gives me a lot of Andrew Heaney vibes,
I
and I
think
don't want to have that again.
I also don't want to deal with Andre Chaparro and Coors Field. I feel like that would be. I think we feel
Yeah,
terrible about
I
that.
didn't even like think about that, but yeah,
Yeah,
Andres Chaparro and
that would
Coors Field will oh
make us give us
he's gonna
nightmares.
he's gonna be hitting the top of the scoreboard every night.
Yeah, I don't have to live in that world, unfortunately. Very biased young
Yeah.
man. Moving on a little bit here. Here, torn ligament takes a while to heal. Yeah, a couple weeks. It's not. I know you said not weeks. But yeah, it's more like weeks. Depends on how bad it is. We don't really know how bad it is just yet.
Well, we
And
also
that's
need to
kind of the
consider
issue.
he's already missed 3 weeks, so
Right,
you
right,
have to
right.
add that onto how much longer you would think he would miss from the start of a torn ligament injury. So, let's say the injury is a month and a half. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I haven't Googled it. I don't know how long exactly it takes. But let's say it's a month and a half. So that's about what, like 6 weeks roughly, right? He's already missed three, so you're adding on at least another three. I'm not saying he's only going to miss 3 more weeks. He might miss more than that. He might miss more like close to 3, 4, or 5, which I could see because at this point he's going to have to go on a rehab assignment. So, you know, with that being said, we don't know how long he's going to miss. I don't think it's going to be the rest of the season. I'm going to hold out hope that it's not the rest of the season, but I'm also not going to ignore the fact that there is a very small, very, very small, but still there possibility that he does miss the rest of the season. I really hope that doesn't happen. I really hope he can come back before September so we can at least get another month of him and get us into like a final playoff push or something like that. Because if you can make it to October and you have your roster fully healthy in October, you can make a run. You can make a run. It's no longer a 1 game elimination wild card. You have a 3 game series in that. So if you make the wild card, you have a couple chances. Just get there and make a push with your team fully healthy. My idea is not, again, I don't want people to get confused. My mindset isn't just make the playoffs. No, my mindset is right now make the playoffs with what you have and then get in the playoffs fully healthy so you can make a World Series push. I want to win the World Series this year. I don't want to just make the playoffs and then build on that for next year. No. I want to win the World Series this year. I want to. So, I just want to make sure people weren't getting confused about what I was saying with that, and that, you know, that all I want is just to make it right now with what we got, stay afloat while Judge is missing, hopefully get Judge back for like the final month or so, make a final push for the playoffs, get in the playoffs, however you can get in the playoffs, get in, even if it's a wild card spot, even if it's the last wild card spot, get in the playoffs and then take it from there. You can make a push from there. Simple as that.
Yeah, no, end of the day, it's one of those things where we just gotta hope and pray, man. Hope and pray gets better. Hope and pray he gets better because I can't do it without Aaron Judge. I can't. I really can't. I can't do it. I feel like if Stan was this bad in 2020, I feel like Stan was this bad in 2021 before he went off again, so I'm not concerned. I will be if it's mid July, he has no signs of life. But since the All Star thing, but he also came off the IL in that span twice, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I have faith, but not a lot of faith. I have diminishing faith. That's where my faith is at right now. I'm not a very faithful guy or faith heavy guy in this situation here. Not feeling it. Not feeling the vibes here. But I hope that the vibes get better with Stan because he's been bad. And it's got to turn around, man. I don't even know what this team is. Like, not even thinking this year. Dude, think about the future of that contract. If he's bad already. That's what I really concerned about. That's what I'm really like, I don't like that. So, maybe that's silly. Maybe that sounds kind of, a little, I don't know, a little weird, but
No, it's
that's how I feel.
reasonable. It's reasonable. It's
Yeah.
reasonable to be alarmed about it. The contract is hefty, man. That's
Yeah.
it's almost at this point unmovable contract, you could say, with the amount of value
No,
he's
it is. I
providing.
think it is.
So yeah, you could pretty much say it's an unmovable contract. So if you ever get off of it at some point, it's either gonna have to be do like some other move, but they're obviously not gonna do that right now. But in the future, a couple years from now, you could start raising the question if he continues to struggle. But I hope he can turn it around. I'm going to hold out that hope that he does because I really like Giancarlo Stanton. I like what he's done in October, especially. He's always been very good in the playoffs. He's always been very reliable in the playoffs. Just need him to figure it out right now, man. I was patient at first because he had just come off the IL after missing 2 months. I expected him to get off to a slow start. It's been about 3 weeks now of just continuous struggles. And the struggles really date back all the way to, like we said, since last All-Star break. You know, you could also attribute that to, injuries or any whatever have you with that as well. You could contribute to it, but at the same time, I don't know why it's still happening. I feel like by now he would have turned it around. Most players would. So it's alarming that he hasn't. It's alarming. And I'm sure he's frustrated about it. He's always held himself accountable about it and all that stuff. Anytime he plays poorly, I just need him to figure it out, man, because I don't want to reach the cooked agenda yet. I don't want to reach that
Oh
yet. I
boy.
want I I don't want to get to that point yet. I want to hold out hope that he can return to form somewhat and be a productive player because he's
Yeah, I don't
shown the
disagree.
capability of doing so.
Do not disagree. He's got to get it done. By the way, I can't stick around for too long because I do have to eat dinner and I have some food baking in the oven right now. And so yeah, we're gonna have to wrap up like the next 10 minutes or so. Tomorrow I have an early morning. Got the good old game going on for Binghamton. Let's go Rolling Ponies, baby. You know me, big Rolling Ponies guy. So we'll kind of field a couple more questions here. So I'm gonna kind of look ahead here and see if there's any stuff that we've already talked about, so I don't like repeat questions or repeat conversations. Um, Done with Donaldson. We kind of talked about third base. Guys, we wouldn't sell. Do you want to tackle this one or?
Guys, who from this group would you not sell? Cortez,
I'd
King, Helms,
say all of
Torres,
them
Weiss,
really.
Bader. Yeah, all of them. I
Yeah, I'd
mean,
keep
I,
all
w-
of them.
I wouldn't. I would keep all of them. You know,
Yeah,
the. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I keep them all. I don't. I don't
same.
really. I don't. I don't see the major rationale to kind of rush to get rid of any one of these guys.
Not do
You know,
I.
the only one that of course, has the question of being traded or not is Glaber, but I'm not like in a rush to trade Glaber. I'm not like we have to trade Glaber right now. No, I'm not like that.
No, I
You
don't
know,
disagree
I'm,
with you.
I'm not at
I'm
that
in lockstep
stage.
with you here.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, kind of looking ahead of here a little bit here as well. Fire Lawson. What do you think? What do you think about Lawson? Do you think they stay? Do you think they go? Where's your mindset at here?
He shouldn't stay. I'm just being honest. He
It's
shouldn't.
fair.
I mean, I don't. He shouldn't. The hitting has been so bad, so like
I hear you.
he shouldn't stay. It's not like that the offense has been only an issue this season or like this month. No, it's been a problem for the past 2, 3 seasons. We barely made the playoffs in 2021 because of a bad offense. You know,
Yeah.
we had a bad offense in October last year and got swept as a result of it, and Cleveland pushed us to 5 as a result of it. Right now, I don't even need to explain right now. The offense is horrendously bad right now. It's rock bottom. So I I think you have to look toward the coaching staff and go, what are they telling these guys to do? Specifically Dylan Lawson here in this case, because I know he spoke to the media a week ago or whatever talking about it, but like you know I haven't really heard much else as to like what's going on. It doesn't make
Hmm.
sense. And even after he spoke, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. The offense has still been bad. They won today with 1 run. So, like, the offense was still bad, even though they won. It was still bad. The
Yeah.
Mariners series, they won that series, but in the 2 games they won, they scored 3 runs and then 4 runs. That's not a lot. Not many teams win games averaging 3 runs a game. I'll tell you that right now. And the Yankees are averaging
Yeah.
about 3 runs a game this month. So, yeah,
It's not
it's an
good.
issue.
It's not good. Not good. But hopefully things get a little bit better on that front before they get a little worse. Moving on a little bit here, we've got like King. I would call it Florial as well as to have an outfielder. I don't think no, 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 no. I'm not doing
Look,
that.
I'm just gonna be honest. I'm over Florio. I'm
He's
done.
feeble.
I'm over.
He's
I'm
feeble.
past. I'm I am
Feeble.
officially overlooking Florio in any sort of outfield options. I'm no longer looking at him as a potential replacement or anything like that. I'm past that.
Yeah.
He'll only come back up on the big league roster if every single one of our outfielders hits the IL at the same time.
Yeah. He's
It's the only
feeble.
way.
It's
That's
bad.
the only way he'll come back up. He's not. He ain't coming back up, and I don't want to see him back up.
Neither do I. It's bad. It
I
is
don't. I
bad.
don't. I don't want to see him.
He
We
is
need
bad.
we need to focus on the left side of the infield. Yes, get an outfield bat deadline if you can, but left side of the infield is more of a very, very urgent need at the moment because it's incredibly bad, that situation there. Having to play IKF there, you know, having to sit both your third baseman you anticipated to platoon throughout the season. You just had to bench them both in the same game. They already benched each one of those guys, sporadically throughout the week. Now he
Right.
just benched them both in the same game. That's how
Yeah.
that's like peak. Like, this is bad. You benched them both in the same game. That's bad. That's bad. I'm not. When I say bad, I don't mean bad on Boone. I'm saying it's bad that the third basemen have been that bad that they got to get benched at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's rough. It's
yeah.
rough. But I don't want Florial coming up. Florial improved on his weakness on the plate. Yeah, no, he still strikes out a million times. So the Yankees fire Eric Cressy after all these injuries. I think a lot of these injuries are kind of like meh. Like, I'm not like injury prone guys getting injured is on the coaching staff. They're just injury prone players. That's kind of always been my philosophy. Like, is Eric Cressy the reason why Harrison Bader gets hurt? Because Harrison Bader's been getting hurt his entire career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Some of these guys just get hurt, and also,
Yeah.
for Judge, for example, you can't control running into the wall. What do you want him to not try? So, you know, what are you gonna do about that? It's just
As I
unfortunate that
famously say, as I
as you
famously said about Ian Hamilton, what do you want him to do? What do you want him to do?
just say it. Let us hear it. Let us hear
I think I'm
it.
good on that one. I think I'll pass on that for now. I'll pass on the offer. I really appreciate
If
the
any of you
compliment.
guys saw our older live stream, if any of you guys were here that day, you know exactly what he is talking about. It was shortly after Ian Hamilton got hurt, so you know exactly what he is talking about. But I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to repeat it. But
All I'm saying is that it made sense at the time. I stand by that statement. If this didn't come off the way it came off, I stand by that statement.
It was a maybe a politically correct statement, but it was a very yeah, just an odd statement. But
And
with that being said, the injuries, like to Judge, for example, you can't control him running into the wall. It's just unlucky that he tore a ligament in his toe, making an unbelievable catch. If you didn't make that catch, like I said, do you want to not try? Like, I don't. That's what I don't understand from some people. Like, did you want him to not try? Because that could have happened to any other player. Bet money if that was Harrison Bader in right field instead, the same thing would have happened to him. If
yeah,
that was, you know what I mean? So it could have happened to anybody. It's just unfortunate that Aaron Judge was the guy in right field and that it happened to him.
yeah,
So
definitely. It's an unfortunate reality. An unfortunate reality that we live in right now. But we got to live with it. That's all you can do. But with that being said, moving on a little bit here. Some other names. Carlson. Dylan Carlson's an interesting guy. Mark Canna's interesting. Tommy Pham is interesting. Like, are the Mets going to be bad enough to have to sell Dylan Carlson? Someone that, could get lost in that Cardinals outfield mix with the way Jordan Walker's been playing. Definitely some interesting names. Carlson strikes me as more of a project. He's never really been a great hitter. He's never really been a bad hitter either. So he's always kind of been like kind of better than league average by a little bit. Do you think he can unlock a little bit of that power ceiling he has? Who knows? That would be a fun project to take on. Good contact skills, good speed, good defender. Switch hitter as well, so that'd be fun. But I don't know what the price
something
tag
to look at.
for him. Yeah, I know what the price
Something
tag
to
looks
look,
like for him, so
something
that's
to
gonna be
look at.
interesting.
Again, just like we've been saying, these kind of trades, it's good to explore them. You don't necessarily have to be like, yes, that's our guy, but they're good to explore them a little bit, especially look at teams like you said, like the Cardinals and the Mets and the Cubs. Those teams, you wonder where their stance will be at the trade deadline, and
Yeah,
you monitor that and take advantage of that. And if you find the right trade, you do it, because at this point,
yeah.
you'll take anything. You'll almost take anything at this point, because how much worse can it really get? At this
Not a
point,
lot
I'm
worse.
I'm clamoring for Brett Gardner to come back.
I miss Brett.
So
I miss Brett Banks.
you're making me miss Brett Gardner, man. Like,
I miss him.
you know what I mean? So at this point, like I said, we'll take anything. I'm not saying we'll take just a bag of chips, but you
I'm
know,
saying I will.
we might be at this point. Maybe the hot dog vendor will be a better third baseman than Josh
Maybe.
Donaldson. Who
You never
knows?
know. You
Who
never
knows?
know.
Who knows? Maybe the spring training guy can play third base, but I don't know. With that. But anyways, like I was saying, just Bellinger, Pham, O'Neill, Carlson, Canna, names like that. They're good names to monitor. We just saw the Mets moved Eduardo Escobar, so looks like they're willing to move some pieces if they have to. So
Tommy
we'll have to
Pham.
see. Tommy Pham too, yeah. Tommy
Who
Pham,
knows?
intriguing piece.
My
So
dog.
you keep an eye on it. Fantasy football legend Tommy Pham.
Yes, sir. But with that being said, we have. Let's see. Instead of always changing lineup, maybe something similar by Boone. Well, I don't think the lineup being stagnant is Boone's fault. I think they're just not hitting, and he has tried things, just hasn't worked.
He's been mixing and matching the lineup, man. It hasn't worked. It's not.
It just hasn't
It's
worked.
not Boone's fault. It's not
It's
Boone's
just
fault.
not. It's just not
Like,
happening.
like, okay, yes, Boone has made bad decisions this year, years past. All managers do. I understand Boone is not an excellent manager. I get that. I was honestly someone who was saying Boone needs to be let go at some point. I was saying that. But right now, I'm only looking at the offense, man.
Yeah.
Boone's been doing what he can, mixing and matching his options. Now, something I can question what Boone did the other day was pinch hitting Donaldson. I can question that because that was a head scratching move. But regardless, the guys are supposed to hit and they're not. So simple.
Yeah. No, don't disagree. I'm gonna have to start wrapping up soon, just because again, dinner is almost going to be done, and
Don't burn
want
down
to
your
get.
apartment.
I will not. I will not. I never burn down my apartment. But with that being said, let me just scurry through here for something really interesting. Let's see. Not saying that your comments aren't interesting, guys. I'm just trying to see if there's anything we haven't talked about from this game. Is there anything we haven't talked about from this game that you would like to discuss? I guess is kind of the last thing that you think.
I mean, it's kind of been the same old story with every other game.
Yeah,
Pitching great, offense bad. So
basically.
it's been the same story. Winner loss is the outcome, but it's been the same script. Great pitching, bad offense. Whichever outcome is whatever outcome. I mean, I'm happy they won today. I'm very happy they won today, but I'm still discouraged by the offense. So
yeah, it's gotta get better.
and
It
and, and
has
I
to
don't
get
and
better.
I want to be clear too. I don't mean to be like the pessimistic Yankee fan who's like, oh, finding a way to complain even though they won. Da, da, da. No, I'm happy they won, and I'm very pleased that they won. They needed this win. But I think it's still reasonable to still be a little upset and discouraged that the offense put up one run. So,
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah,
you
no, I do.
take the win, you take the win and you take it, but it's still discouraging. So,
Right,
because
gotcha.
it's not one of those wins where I'm like, oh yes, this is the win where they turn it around. This is the win that makes me feel like they can really get things going. No, I'm still discouraged by the offense a little bit. So,
Yeah, I feel the same way. That's how I feel. So
yeah.
I think it's a good point for us to wrap up. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. You guys been great support lately. Thank you guys again. We appreciate you guys sticking by. Hopefully tomorrow we can come back with a win. It'd be nice to get a series here. So, with that being said,
Will we be back with another live
yes,
tomorrow?
we will be back tomorrow
All right.
with another live.
All right, cool.
So yeah, we might start a little bit later because I do have work that day, but we'll still go through it.
What time do you think we'd roughly be live so we can let the people know?
I depends on how long my game goes and your guys' game goes. So let's just say at about an hour after game end, roughly.
That works. That works for me. So
All right.
we'll try to workshop those things and make sure you guys can stop by at that time. So
Yeah, for sure. So thank you guys once again, and we'll see you guys in the next live stream or podcast. Thank you guys again. Have a good night. Peace out, y'all.